The families of 2 of the Pike River victims go to the country's Court of Appeal tomorrow to once again attempt to get someone held responsible for the deaths of 29 men. They're challenging the decision to drop charges against the mine's chief executive, Peter Whittall. Whittall faced a raft of health and safety charges relating to the explosions, but the prosecution was dropped, of course, after an insurance payment of more than $3 million in total was made to the 29 families. Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment determined that the public interest was not meant by continuing with a long, costly trial and a low probability of success. But for Sonia Rockhouse, who lost her son Ben, and Anna Osborne, who lost her husband Milton, even to try and fail would be better than being denied the opportunity to try at all. So their lawyer, Nigel Hampton QC, will be making submissions on their behalf in the Court of Appeal tomorrow.
It appears that you can buy your way out of justice in the New Zealand justice system. For me personally, I want to see someone or people being held to account over my husband's death and the death of 28 other men in the mine. To date, we've had no one been held to account. We've had charges laid against people, but they were dropped. And we believe through a backroom deal, which was paid through Peter Whittall's insurance company, so it hasn't hurt anyone in the pocket as such, and that's just not good enough for my husband and the 28 other guys that perished at work, you know, and that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting to get Judge Farish's decision overturned and to hold at least Peter Whittall to account. It's all we can do at the moment. He was the only one under the Department of Labour who was mentioned. There was 9 charges brought against him, and then they were dropped after a backroom deal was done.
The payment of $3 million. Sonia, as Anna was speaking, you were nodding away. How important is it for you that the buck stops somewhere?
Oh, it's very important. I mean, you can't... our boys were killed. No, there's no two ways about that, and somebody's got to be held to account. I mean, they've not apologised. No one's come to us and said, look, we're really sorry, we're stuffed up, and but nobody. And so somebody's got to be held to account. People can't just die in this country or be killed in this country, and nobody be held to account.
29 people in a workplace accident.
Yeah. And actually, 29 died, but there were 31 men down that mine, and the other 2 guys, I mean, they have to live with that for the rest of their lives as well, and their lives will never be the same either. And, it hurts them to see that people have just walked away and nothing's been done.
There's just been a huge injustice here, John, and what really gets to me is we haven't heard the truth. There's people out there who should be brought to trial so we can question, our lawyers can question them. Even a tiny bit of truth for us would be part of our healing. We haven't had anyone stand on trial and answer questions for what went wrong that day, and there's lots of people who can actually add to the pieces so we can figure out ourselves what went wrong. We've heard best guesses from the Commission of Inquiry that was held that caused the explosion, but no one knows for sure. And my husband was better than a best guess. We want to know exactly what happened, and for us that is really important for part of our healing. We haven't been able to bury our loved ones, so we haven't had that closure. We haven't been able to sit in court and listen to these people who were partly responsible for our men's deaths, and that is hugely important for us, and it's something that hasn't been done. So for Sonia and I especially, we're going as far as we can until we get some form of justice.
Sonia, I'm listening to Anna and I'm thinking that, Anna, you sound as raw and as sad and as bewildered as you did in the weeks after the explosion. Sonia, do you feel that way? Is it still an open wound for you?
Absolutely. And I don't think that's ever going to go away, and that's the reason that Anna and I are continuing to fight on. And fortunately for us, we have lawyers that are willing to fight for us. And for me, to fight and lose, I think we could accept, but not to fight and not have anything happen, that I can't accept. So for us, we will just continue fighting until we get something.
Have
We
you
owe
ever,
it to our
have
men,
you
John.
ever, sorry, have you ever had any first-person explanation from Peter Whittall, who was the CEO?
No. The last conversation I had with Peter Whittall, he was holding my hand, his wife was standing beside me, she was rubbing my arm, and he promised me faithfully that he would do whatever he could to get the men out. That was the last conversation I had with Peter Whittall. He looked me straight in the eye and he made that promise. And as far as I'm concerned, there has been no attempts. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, we do not want people to die trying to get the remains of our men out. That's not what we want. We want to go into the drift, which is the first part of the mine, to find any evidence that may be down there to explain what might have happened. And
Sonia, can I cut in there? The last conversation you had with Peter Whittall, he was rubbing your arm and promising he would get
Yes.
the boys out. When was that?
that was at the big memorial at Omoto.
Wow.
Within So we've not had a conversation or anything since then.
It's Sonia Rockhouse and Anna Osborne, and obviously we will cover the appeal court hearing tomorrow.